Good afternoon, students. After completing the strike and dip and Unit 1 and Unit 2, in Unit 1 we have discussed about the interior structure of the earth, rock forming mineral, their properties, and what are the engineering properties of rocks and rock as an engineering material and a building material. In Unit 2 we have discussed about igneous rock, metamorphic rocks, sedimentary rocks, their formation, their origin, their properties, whether it's be a physical property, chemical property, mineralogical properties, and uh, engineering properties. After that, in Unit 3 we have discussed about the dip and strike and fold parts and its properties. Now I would like to discuss about the faults. From the civil engineering point of view, faults are the most unfavorable and undesirable geological structure at the site for any given purpose. That is for the location of the reservoir as foundation site for the construction of dams, important bridges or huge buildings, for tunneling, for laying of the roads, and for railway tracks. So listen once again, it is very important for the location of reservoir of the dam as the foundation site for the construction of the dams, important bridges, huge buildings, for tunneling, for laying roads and railway tracks. This is because fault considerably weaken the rock and render the sites in which they occur as unfavorable places for all construction purpose. Further, as long as faults are active, the site is unstable and susceptible to upward, downward, or sideward movement along the fault plane, thereby making the places highly hazardous for foundation purpose. Thus, by the virtue of the harm they are capable of causing, faults are necessarily investigated with the special care in dealing with any major construction. So you can see the such type of fault occur in the rocky structure. It is foot wall block, and it is hanging wall block, and it is over body. So from figure you can clearly see how fault occurs. So this is the field view of the faults, and these are the some diagram of the faults. Extension like this, right lateral motion, and such type of fault will a normal fault will occur, transform fault will occur, reverse fault will occur once the compression is being acting on a rock particle. Compression will occur, and left lateral motion. Joints and fault. Structurally, faults may be described as fractures along with the relative displacement of the adjacent block has taken place. If such relative displacement does not take place on either side of the fracture plane, it is called a joint. Thus, both joint and faults are fractures in the rocks, but with the difference in the kind of the displacement. Joints may be described as a set of the aligned parallel crack or openings in the geological formation. So this is the macroscopic view of the faults. You can see in a figure very clearly. Like faults also have considerable range in their magnitude. Some occur for the shorter distance, while other can be traced for very long distances. In some cases, displacement may be less than a centimeter, while in other it may be many or even kilometers. The magnitude of the faulting obviously depend on the intensity and the nature of the shearing stresses involved. So this is once again these cracks are basically the fracture. These fractures are basically the fault in the mountainous terrain. Nature of the fault plane. Rarely the displacement during the faulting occurring along a single fault plane. In many cases, faulting takes place along a number of the parallel fractures. Such a zone, which contains a number of closely spaced subparallel fracture along with the relative displacement has taken place, is called the shear zone or the fault zone. Shear zone or a fault zone. A fault plane may be plane or a straight, or may be curved or irregular. It may be horizontal or inclined or vertical. So in this diagram you can clearly see this is the earth crust, this is the fault scarp, this is the fracture surface, down thrown block, key or the marked bed, fault line, strike expressed in degree clockwise from the north, dip vertical angle expressed in the degree, key or mark bed up thrown block, arrows indicating the direction of the relative displacements. Recurrence of faulting. Faulting occurs when shearing resistance of the geological formation is overcome by the tectonic forces. Occurrence of the faulting is often accompanied by the earthquake and it is an indication of the subsurface instability of the region concerned. Thus, faulting may be treated as an attempt to reach stability because of the hard, rigid, and solid nature of the rock masses involved. This stability is not achieved in one stroke but by the repetition of the process. Thus, once if a faulting occurs in a place, it shall remain active for the some time. That is, subsequent recurring faulting takes place there only. There is so because this is so because this fault plane offers the least resistance for the readjustment of the block concerned and for the release of the accumulated energy in the rock. Once the stability is attained, faulting may not reoccur. Even if the faulting takes place, it would be of the mild intensity. Such faults which have not been affected in the known history are called dead faults. The different part of the fault are fault plane. This is the plane along which the adjacent blocks were relatively displaced. In other words, this is the fracture surface on the either side of which the rock has moved past one another. Its intersection with the horizontal plane gives the strike direction of the fault. The direction along with the fault plane has the maximum slope is its true dip direction. This is hanging wall showing the direction towards the north. This is the footwall. This is the fault plane offset layer. Footwall and hanging wall. When the fault plane is inclined, the faulted block which lies below the fault plane is called the footwall, and the other block which rests above the fault plane is called the hanging wall. In this case of the vertical faults, naturally the faulted blocks cannot be described as a footwall or hanging wall. So this is the footwall, this is the fault plane, this is the extension, and this is the hanging wall. Slip, parts of the fault. Slip, the displacement that occurs during the faulting is called the slip. The total displacement is known as the next slip. This may be along the strike direction or the dip direction or along both. So left lateral strike slip fault. This is basically the slip. Heave and throw. The horizontal component of the displacement is called heave and the vertical component of the displacement is called throw. In vertical faults, there is only throw but no heave. In horizontal fault, there is a heave but not throw. So this is the slip component in the fault plane, net slip, dip slip and strike slip. So in this figure, footwall, you can see the fault plane, slick line, strata, pitch and rake, strike dip, heave and horizontal throw, slip component in a horizontal plane and slip component in the vertical plane perpendicular to the strike of the fold. In this direction it is heave, in this direction vertical throw, in this direction it is a dip slip, and this is the hanging wall. Classification and types of faults. Like faults also have been classified on the basis of different principle as the type of displacement along the plane, relative movement of the footwall and hanging wall, types of the slip involved, mode of the occurrence of the faults, types of displacement along the plane. Based on this principle, faults are divisible into the transitional fault and rotational faults. In the case of the transitional faults, the type of the displacement of the footwall with the reference to the hanging wall is uniform along the fault plane. In the case of the rotational fault, the displacement varies from place to place. Classification and types of fault. Relative movement of the footwall and the hanging wall. In the case of the inclined fault, if the hanging wall goes down with a reference to the footwall, it is called the normal fault or gravity fault. These terms are very appropriate because of the hanging wall is normally expected to move down along the slope of the fault plane under the influence of the gravity. This is the normal fault, this is footwall block and this is hanging wall block. and this is the reverse fault. In this you can see there is a tension force in this, and in reverse fault it has occurred due to the compressive force. Classification and types of fault. If the kind of the displacement of the hanging wall is opposite to the direction of the fault is called reverse fault or a thrust fault. These terms also are appropriate because in such fault plane, and therefore the type of the displacement is the reverse of the normally expected downward movement of the hanging wall under such a condition. If a relative displacement of the hanging wall is neither upward nor downward with the reference to the inclined fault plane but sidewards, then such faults are described as sinistral fault. So you can see the sinistral shearing stress in this diagram. Type of slips involved. Slips has been already described as the displacement along the fault plane if the displacement is along the strike direction of the fault plane, such as fault is described as strike slip fault. On the other hand, if the displacement occurs partly along the strike the direction of the fault plane, such a fault is called oblique slip fault. So in this diagram you can see the oblique movement, fault plane, hanging wall block, fault range, football block, and horizontal component, vertical component. This is reverse fault, this is normal fault, this is strike slip fault, and this is coarse oblique slip fault. Mode of occurrence, radial faults. When a set of faults occur on the surface and appear to be radiating from a common point, they are called radial faults. Anecalon faults, these refers to a series of minor faults which appear to be overlapping one over the other. Arcuate or peripheral faults, these also refers to a set of relatively minor faults which have curved outcrop and are arranged in peripheral manner, enclosing more or less circular area. So this is the diagram of radial fault, and this is the diagram of Anecalon faults. Some miscellaneous faults like step faults. When a set of parallel normal faults occur at a regular interval, they give a step-like appearance and called step faults. Parallel faults, as the name indicates, they are a set of parallel normal faults with the same strike and a dip. They are like a step fault but may or may not have a regular interval. Horst and Grabens. When normal faults with mutually diverging or converging fault plane occurs, then a few wedge-shaped blocks called Horst are displaced upward and a few other called Grabens are displaced downward. Horst and Grabens of the large magnitude are called block mountain and rift valleys. So you can try to understand how step faults look like with the help of this diagram. This is the formation of steps. This is parallel fault. Mode of occurrence is volcano, dikes and fault system occurring due to the hydraulic fracturing. So this is the parallel dike span. This is monogenic cones, horizontal minimum or horizontal and such for parallel normal faults and graben has been developed. And this is normal fault, this is Horst, this is graben. Causes of faulting. Faults may occur due to the various causes. Among the tectonic causes are the responsible not only for the most of the faults but also for the faults of the greater magnitude. It may be recollected that the faults develop mainly due to the shear and sliding failures resulting from the tectonic forces. It is natural that the compression and the tensional forces be mutually interlinked, because if in one part of the crust there is a compression, in the adjacent part there will be tension. In addition to these main causes, sometimes the formation of the magmatic intrusion such as bismuths may also contribute to the faulting, though on a very small scale. Occasionally local settlement under the influence of gravity may also cause minor faulting. So this is hanging ball block, this is strike, stripe, slip faulting, hanging ball block, strike, reverse faulting, football block, dip, and normal faulting and football block. Effect of faulting. The faulting phenomena produces dislocation in the lithology and topography. Hence, they offer evidence to recognize fault in the fields. Proper geological investigation followed by the geological mapping enable one to detect occurrence of the fault in the area. Slickness, fault tracks, brachiation, mineralization zones, repetition, omission of the strata and of the offsets of the beds are some of the lithological evidence of the faulting. Topographical evidences include various surface of the features like offset ridges, parallel deflection of the valley, reversal of the drainage, straight reverse course, and a straight steep coastal lines. So such type of alpine fault, Macquarie fault zone, 37 mm per year, and this is Marlborough fault system, 41 mm per year, North Island fault system, Kermadec trench. So friends, I will discuss the other parameters in the subsequent classes. So till the time you go through the fault and try to revise the concept of dip and strike, and also go through try to revise the other parameters of unit 1, unit 2 and unit 3. Thank you for listening to me.